Good morning, almost noon. So soon, after some little bit of arrangements, I will continue with the Zygote of Ur series. I hope you find it interesting. And although I will continue with the sculpture process, I've decided. The problem is that I don't have any money at all. I'll receive a little bit of money tomorrow, and then back a week, although a very small amount, like tiny amount. But now I have zero. Like I have nothing. So I cannot even buy clay. So the clay that I have, I will use today. And I decided what I can do with that is actually to prepare 4 starships. So there will be 3 small ones and 1 big one. The big one you already know it. It's this one. And there will be 3, this one and 2 even smaller ones. Actually, this is another, kind of like a repeated symbolism that you can see in the Neo language, and also in my various experiments, most, prominently in the electrolysis experiment. The idea of symbols of that, are 3 small and 1, and like 4 symbols, and the 3 are small and 1 is big. And it somehow can also reflect it in the series, like in the Tanomachi series and all the other series of the paintings that I have many series of 4 paintings of the same, they're not exactly the same, but they reflect, the same topic. And on the other side, like the other side of the canvas, all contains symbols, but one contains like explanation, like more elaborate like explanation in words. Like this is like the main, the main, like one of the 4. So it also, some kind of like that. Like there is a series of 4, and one is like bigger or more elaborated or more elegant. So, and you can see it in the electrolysis experiments. So this, I will go with this direction. Regarding the Zygote of Ur series, I must admit that one of the things that I admit that I do not know. There is one of the things that I do not understand is why, all of it is so new to so many of you. Because obviously there was kind of like a process of I don't know, losing information or forgetting information that took place in the last couple of decades. Very recently, or maybe up to the very recent years, maybe even recent years and certainly recent decades. There was a process after the 80s that, part of it was kind of like, a major loss of information throughout the world in various intelligence agencies. Of course, not everybody lost all the knowledge, but in any way, they do not cooperate as much as I would have thought in the beginning. And so, yes, I understand that many of the things that I say, not only in the Zygote of Ur saga, but in all the other sagas, are actually very new to many people all around the world. I understand. This is, some of it not. Some people have their own sources. It's not all new to everybody, but yes. And I do not. And the only explanation is that there was some kind of a process of forgetting. And actually, I must admit that I don't understand how it came to be. What was the process in which people actually forgot all this? And it didn't happen like a million years ago. It happened like sometime from between the 1980s and today, and probably even during the last decade, very recently. Historical perspective. So I must admit I don't know. How did you forget? Americans, the Russians, and of course the British, and of course the weaker, smaller intelligence agencies of the world, that they also forgot things that they knew, and I don't understand how. Anyway, I will continue with this the historical discussion. We will discuss the Venera project, and we will discuss the new things that I've learned during this time. Again, not regarding the planet Venus, because I have no direct information of the planet, but regarding the Neo civilization and regarding my own self and the exploitation of the Venusians. So all of this will be discussed in the 12th chapter that I'll start very soon. I must admit that, the fact that I'm so poor is sometimes very kind of humiliating. I got used to being poor, but sometimes it's so humiliating. I can't even buy flip-flops. By flip-flops, they tear apart, and so now I have to take shower without flip-flops, even though it's used by Instagram, but everyone. But I have no. Just to show you, how much, I mean, the people of the Israel are humiliated. I mean, it was also always so important for them that I will be humiliated, not only poor and miserable, but humiliated. And it should be said again every day, and we should repeat it. The world, humanity is in their last steps. They will soon be completely replaced by other creatures. And if you are okay with that, do whatever you want. But if you want any chance of survival of at least some of you, not all of humans will survive in any case, only some parts of humanity. But if you want some parts of humanity to survive, there is only one thing that you can do that will actually increase the chances of this survival. And the only thing that you can do is to run, not to walk, to run to Israel. Of course, I'm now referring to people that are not Israelis. I have nothing to say to Israelis, and I mean, they are doomed. They are doomed for their sins. The people outside of Israel should run into Israel and get me and my daughters, Orin and Hila, and also their mother in Bal Bet Moshe, get us out of here. Of course, only if Inbal wants. I mean, she is a free person. But I mean, I should speak about myself. Noam David, Orin, David, Hila David, my two daughters. You should rescue us from this Nazi hell. And you should do it using force, not using mouths and tongues. If the mouth is open, the rescue will fail, and the consequences will be tragic. You must do it with your mouth closed and without any movement of lips. Get us out using force and without any kind of speech, certainly no speech with the Israelis. And this should be done now. The best time to do it is right now. Right now. Any other discussion would be done after we are outside the borders of Israel. And again, I do not require, I will demand a little bit of compensation because I need some money just to start my life. But once I'm out of Israel, I will have tremendous ways to actually, gain, a ton of money. Using all sort of, using many ways. The problem is that it's not that I cannot, that I don't know how to produce money, or that I don't have profession, or I don't have things to sell, or don't have I have so much to offer to humanity that I could have been a billionaire long ago. I am penniless because I am a prisoner of war. I was captured by the Israelis and I'm a prisoner of war. I need to be rescued using force, not using mouths and tongues. But I will need some money to start my life, and the place that I want to start my life in is Hong Kong. Or if for some reason, the Chinese government thinks that Hong Kong is not the correct place for their own, I don't know, reasons, maybe security reasons or logistic reasons. So if it's another place in China, it's also fine. But it should be China and preferably Hong Kong if there is no such, I don't know. I don't know all the constraints if such exist. And this should be the best time to do it is right now. And again, we do not need to discuss anything that will happen after the rescue, because we can do it, and we should do it only once we are out. And it shouldn't be difficult because I do not require much. I only want to live in a place that I will not be tortured around the clock, and that I will be able to raise my daughters without the intervention of malicious scum of the earth. And of course, that I will be able to actually speak and publish, like any other person, to publish my thoughts, to write books, or to write anything that I want, things that are incredibly out of that, that were never possible in Israel, because as you know, even my internet access is completely blocked here in Israel and monitored. So that's what I want, and it should be difficult, but all of this should be discussed only after we are out of here. You need to rescue us, you need to get us out of here using force, not using mouths and tongue. We do not need to participate in any charade, not a marketplace charade, not a courtroom charade, any kind of charade, not a salaried man charade. No charade is needed. Social work charade, no. We do not require any kind of charade. We need force, arms and legs. And we need it now. And any day, any hour that this is postponed is another step towards the end of humanity. And of course, probably, it's it's even, I mean, it doesn't even need to be mentioned, but maybe I should just mention that the Ziggurat of Ur saga in the current like I mean where we stand right now in the story. I mean, yes, advanced societies much more advanced than you are sometimes they reach dead end. They reach I mean, not all of them are necessarily die, but only a small fraction remains, and this fraction remains in inferior state of technology and social systems, and presumably even for forever, like for millions of years. They cannot, I mean, get back to, I mean, their previous state, and they stuck because, I mean, they went through the apocalypse, and they cannot, I mean, get back to where they've been. And these things happened. Actually, it happened on Earth, but this is not part of our discussion. This belongs to the ancient history of Earth. But the Ziggurat of Ur story, especially where we stand now, is an example of a place very, very close to Earth. Actually, the closest planet to Earth where such thing actually happened. And right now they are in a situation, not only right now, I mean, for thousands of years, they are in a situation where they are used as slaves and as food and slaves for another civilization, in your case, your civilization, that is hunting them for many thousands of years. I mean, the Israelis didn't start with it, even though the Israelis were the coolest by far. But it was already, I mean, this kind of like, I mean, relationship were already, I mean, established during the times of the old kingdom of Egypt, as I mentioned. It's not a new issue. So yes, a very advanced civilization. You have an example right in front of your eyes, even though the closest example is actually here on Earth, but you don't have access currently to this history. But you know about civilization that was much more advanced than you are, and you have positive proof for it because you understand the nature of their robotic, like, I mean, the body that they have. And you see that for a long time, they are stuck in post-apocalyptic situation where they live in very crude life condition and they cannot get back to their previous, like, I mean, the level of technology. And moreover, they are prey animals and slaves to another scumbag civilization. I mean, the Homo sapiens civilization. So yes, these things happen, and of course, it happened many times. In many places. I mean, if you understand very well that, I mean, if intelligent life exists both on Earth and Venus that are so close to each other, life is actually, I mean, the universe is full of intelligent life forms. Actually, much more than even most of you even imagine. And yes, many times this is the outcome. This is the outcome. An event, which, I mean, can be categorized under the umbrella term apocalypse. There are all sorts of kinds of apocalypses. Not only war, I mean, war was type one that happened in Venus, but it's not the only type of apocalypse. Of course not. There are many other types. And after several of these types of events, usually, I mean, not everyone is wiped out of the planet. In order for that to happen, I mean, very, very extreme, like, kind of apocalypse should have take place, and this is actually very unusual even in the galactic scale. But what happens usually is that only a fraction of the population remains, and they are stuck in Venus, and they are stuck. They cannot get back. I mean, they're stuck forever, or presumably for a long time, like millions of years. They are stuck like in a relatively primitive. Life conditions, and they don't have any way to get back to where they've been before and to advance further. So, I mean, you don't need to be a genius to draw your own conclusion. This can happen on Earth, and it already happened on Earth, as I said, but it was in the distant past. This can also happen right now on Earth in the next couple of days. And the only way to prevent it, or at least to increase the chances of preventing this from happening, the only way is to run to Israel and get us out of here using force, using arms and legs, no mouth and no tongue.